Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of Blackbird's Brew. Happy Monday, and let's have our introduction to the goddess Ostara. Who is she? Ostara is a goddess of spring, the dawn, renewal, innocence, and youth of Germanic and Anglo-Saxon origin. Some sources suggest she's the equivalent of Idun of the Norse pantheon. Others point out her similarities to Frigg and Freya. At this time, I don't have enough information to form my own opinion on the question, so do your own homework. It also must be acknowledged that some people deny that Ostara was ever a goddess at all. This is a claim that I do know enough about to reject. Now, without regurgitating several very long-winded, very dull and tedious linguistic discussions, suffice it to say that there is a track record of reference for Ostara. Her name is also part of the Germanic name of the month that was called after her, and her presence in the Germanic language all points to this goddess having some substance. I think it's possible that Ostara may have been used as a title. At least I still feel open to that particular line of reasoning. But regardless of whether it's a title or a personal name, we do know that this refers to the Germanic goddess of spring. I've yet to come across an account of the goddess of spring or any deity being cross about the use of the name Ostara, which is what actually counts. It's what they think, not necessarily what we in our human controversies think that matters. And as with everything else, do your own research on the topic, form your own conclusions. Don't rely on me or anybody else. So, Ostara, the maiden goddess. To date, I've come across no information about the family ties for Ostara, but it is universally agreed that she is a maiden goddess, which makes sense given how she's connected to this time of year. So much so that it's led some scholars to speculate that she's actually a goddess of the Vanir pantheon. So that would have been Freya and Freyr's, essentially, their original home as far as the gods go. Ostara embodies the freshness of spring. She wants to make things warm and come alive and begin the cycle all over again. And surviving parts of her mythology tells about her connection to birds, to hares, eggs, and all those lovely pastel colors that we've come to associate with the modern celebration of Easter. And we will be covering that particular story next week, so be sure you come back for that. Now we come to the brick wall of scanty information. Because we are dealing with our perennial nemesis of too little info, other videos about Ostara are going to focus on what we can learn from her, how other people have worked with her, what clues we can glean from her known correspondences. I will do my very best to bring something of substance to this, but if you've done your own research on this matter, I mean, you know just how hard it can actually be, and everything's in dispute. It's all up in the air, so we'll just do the best we can and see what we can find to take away from it. Because I think we should take these situations as a challenge. As much as we all want to resurrect what came before us and to have as much information as possible, we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that we have the opportunity to build something new in the here and now, especially with this goddess whose very being is defined by the springtime, the dawn, new life, and possibilities. If any of the gods is going to be open about modern interpretations or about basing our practices on, our own experiences with her, it would be this one. So if you do have any experiences with reaching out to Ostara, have any ideas of her likes and dislikes, if you've had the privilege to have any kind of encounter with her at all, be sure to keep records with this. Especially if you happen to have her as a patron. I think we should all be thinking about ways to pass along our findings to other members of the community. And this isn't necessarily even within our own lifetime. There may be things that are personal strictly to us and that do need to remain private. But after we shed our mortal coils, we do need to make sure that we are passing along things that we have gleaned, because we don't know if that might be very helpful to someone else later down the line, especially the younger generation of pagans. For their sake, as well as our own, we need to start building up a modern body of lore. And of course, 1,000 years from now, and we don't know how much of value this might bring. So long-term thinking, I think it's time for our community in general to graduate to the level of actively creating legacy. Let's not do to future generations essentially what was done to us. Not if we can avoid it. We can only do the best we can and then hope for the best, but let's at least make the effort to have some preservation and some cultivation of our modern day practices. So that's it for the introduction to Ostara. If you'd like to discuss her or any other thing about paganism a little bit more extensively, you're very welcome to come see me at Blackbird's Brew. There's a link to join in the description box below. And of course, you can always comment here below, and As always, like and subscribe to this channel. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.